recording, here is the first answer to the Spiral Math for Wednesday, August 12th. We're going to be checking the rest of it right now. Boys and girls, I want you to make sure that you've written down, check mark your work on the left or the right-hand side, so you have that. And also make sure you check mark your answer sentence, or if you did a number sentence with the product in there, either one is okay. You do not have to do both, just one of them. Next, I'm going to be going down to number 2. And then I'm going to go take a look at my problem that I'm working on. Okay, Miss Church, do you want to go ahead and tell me someone who could read that out loud for me?
Ava.
Ava, do you want to go ahead and read number 2 for me? Just the whole thing. You don't have to read the answer sentence yet. Just read the whole problem for me. Ava, I see that you're here today. Make sure that you take off your microphone and read the problem for me. Okay, I'm not seeing Ava responding to this one. So we're going to ask someone else to respond. Ava, make sure that you're there and make sure that you're responding. Or if you're having trouble, email me and let me know.
Jace T.
Jace T. Do you want to go ahead right now and read number 2 for me? Okay, boys and girls, this is one way to make sure that I know you guys are here and having okay connection. So if you can hear me and you can hear my voice and you know what to do because you can hear me, just go ahead and unmute it, Jace T, if you can. If not, I'm concerned because I see that you're here and I'm not sure if your connection's working. So if you can, please unmute your microphone and go ahead and read it for me. Let's try one more person. I'm a little concerned. This is like the second person. All right, Jacob, if you're there, I want you to unmute your microphone and I want you to read number 2 for me.
Anna drinks 2 cups of water each day. Jan drinks twice as much water as Anna. How many fluid ounces does Jan drink?
Thanks, Jacob. Good job reading that for me out loud. All right, now the next thing we want to do is you want to come up with an answer sentence that we will use for number 2 to make sure that we are ready to answer the question. So looking at the question, which is, how many fluid ounces does Jan drink? We want to come up with an answer sentence to answer that question. We'll leave the answer blank and then I'll ask someone to help me out with the answer. But first, the answer sentence. Go ahead and Ms. Church. Reagan, you want to go ahead and unmute your microphone and let me see what you would say for the answer sentence.
Jan drank blank fluid ounces.
Yep, that's perfect, Reagan, and that's actually what I would write down here. Jan drinks blank fluid ounces, or you can say drank. Either one is okay. So it'd be Jan, and you can say either drinks or drank. I'm going to say drinks blank. Very important here that you write the words fluid ounces in your answer sentence because I want to make sure we know what unit of measurement we're talking about. So I'm going to go ahead and check mark fluid in ounces. Make sure you have Jan. Since we're talking about 2 people, make sure you use the name Jan instead of she because we want to make sure we know which person we're specifically talking about. Now that I've got that, I'm going to go and take a look at my work. Thanks, Reagan, for giving me that answer sentence. All right, now on this one, it says that Anu drinks 2 cups of water each day and Jan drinks twice as much. So what I will do is in our work, I should put that Anu drinks 2 cups of water. And we want to find out how much Anu drinks because then we know that Jan drinks twice as much. So what I'll do is the hint that I had down here was that 8 fluid ounces equals 1 cup. So your work should basically show something like this. And I'll just show that right here. You should have 2 cups. And we want to find out how many ounces are in 2 cups. So we take 8 ounces of water that are in 2 cups. And that means Anu drinks 16 ounces. Now we're not done yet, because now we have to double that to show how much fluid ounces Jan drinks. So we multiply 16 times 2 and get 32 ounces. And then what we'll do is we'll put the 32 ounces inside here. Can you check mark your work, boys and girls, right now here where you did your 16 times 2, 2 times 8, all the work that you did here, I want you to have it checked. The reason why, again, Mr. Yates is not a mind reader, so if I do ask you to show me your work or how you solved it, I need to be able to see it. That's hard for me to look into your mind. So make sure, even if you might have been able to do this in your head, to show me the calculations that you did to figure it out. Also, make sure you have 32 ounces inside here and check mark it. We're going to go ahead and move on to number 3 right now. Aubrey, what's your question?
I didn't mean to raise my hand.
That's okay, Aubrey. Just go ahead and put it down if you're done, and then we'll go ahead and move on. All right, number 3. What are we working on with number 3 right now?
Allison.
Allison, you want to tell me what we're doing?
Can you hear me?
I can, Allison.
Okay. Do you want me to read number 3?
I do, Allison.
What is the sum?
Good. And Allison, do you want to go one step further and tell me what we're adding? Just read out that addition problem that we're seeing there.
65,468 plus 66,629.
You got it. And just make sure that since there, I think someone pointed out yesterday, we have dollar signs, we'll say them as dollars. So it'll be $65,000, $65,468 plus $66,629. Thank you, Allison. We're going to go ahead and write it over on our work side. First, we'll put number 3. And then on our work side here, I'm just going to write it out so I can see it, and then I'll zoom in. So on my work side, I should have, and for this part, I don't necessarily have to have the dollar sign on the work side because I'll just add that in when I'm actually writing it in my answer sense. 65,468 plus 66,629. We're talking about dollars, so I'm going to remind myself later on in my answer sentence, I could say the sum is, and I'll zoom in here. Or actually, yeah, I already gave away the answer sentence, so I should probably just keep on going. So I said the sum is blank dollars, so I have a dollar sign there. I can also rewrite this expression right here in my answer sentence too, and make that just the answer expression. Either one's okay. I'm going to go ahead and add this up. Boys and girls, again, it's always good to be eagle eyes on these things because Mr. Yates does make mistakes, as you well know from earlier this week. So we want to make sure that I am doing my addition correctly and I'm not making what's called calculation errors. Calculation errors are when I don't add or subtract or multiply or divide correctly, and I make silly mistakes. So I'm going to go through this. 8 plus 9 is 17. Carry the 1. 1 plus 2 is 3. Plus 6 is 9. I don't carry. 4 plus 6 is 10. Drop down my comma. Carry the 1. 1 plus 5 is 6. Plus 6 is 12. Carry a 1 again. 6 plus 6 is 12 plus 13. So I have $132,097. So I'll add that into here over on my sum side. $132,097. So I'll make sure that I check mark my work. I'll also check mark my word sum, or if you just wrote the problem out on the answer side, that's okay. Check mark my dollar sign. I want to make sure you have a dollar sign in your answer. And
Mr. Yates.
oh, hold on, is that Henry?
Yeah.
Okay, Henry, just go ahead and raise your hand. We'll see you. What's your question, Henry?
Can you go back to number 1? I didn't see the answer to that one.
Henry, I'll go ahead and show it right here. Henry, I missed you a minute ago there when I called on you. Were you able to work on your microphone? Is your microphone working okay?
Sort of. I got a new computer.
Okay, so it's sort of getting used to it all?
Yeah.
All right, good. Just checking in on you, make sure you're all right. All right, let's go ahead and there's our answer for number 1. I'll also record this, Henry, so if you do need to go back later on at the end of the day today, you can also look, or you can just email me and I'll give you the answers for those. All right, let's go ahead and move on to number 4. All right, on number 4, I'm going to go ahead and write the answer sentence. Let's see what the answer sentence needs to be, though. Let's by reading it. Okay, Ms. Church, you want to tell me what who's going to be telling, or could I ask someone to read it for me?
Henry, actually.
Henry, what a coincidence. We were just talking about you, and Ms. Church pulled your name again. Henry, could you go ahead and read number 4 for us?
Yeah.
Okay.
The combined angle. Measure the 70.
That little 0 means degrees.
The combined angle. Measure the 70 degrees. Find the unknown angle measure.
Excellent job. Thanks, Henry. We're going to go ahead now and come up with an answer sentence for that. So I would like an answer sentence for that problem. Mike, do you want to go ahead and tell me your answer sentence for number 4? What would you write there?
The unknown angle is.
And then blank. And then what unit of measurement should we use here? Like feet, miles, degrees, centimeters, decibels. What should we say there? The unknown angle measure is blank what?
Degrees.
You got it. So we're going to write in our answer sentence right here. The unknown angle, and again, I'm going to be very careful. I don't write angel, so I always get those mixed up. The unknown angle measure is, or you could just say the unknown angle is blank degrees. And that little 0 mark at the very top, it's very small, is the degree sign. So you want to make sure you have that in there so it's not just a number, it's a degree. Great. Let's go back and look at our question. All right, so what we're doing is we know that we have, let's see here, we know that we have 45 degrees right here. We know that the total combined measure, the whole angle, is 70. So we can take 70 and subtract the 45 and end up with the remainder, or the difference will be the mystery angle F. So what I'll do is I'll just go ahead and I'd like you to show that in your work, boys and girls. So make sure you've done that. What I'd like you to do is go ahead and write, let's see, I think, oh my goodness, I already forgot what the angle measure was. Okay, 70 degrees. So we'll take 70. We're going to be subtracting the amount that the angle we know is, which is 45 degrees. And that'll get F, which is our mystery angle. So let me go ahead and write that out. 70 minus 45, a little borrowing. So 6 minus 4. So it looks like I ended up with 25 degrees. That's how much the mystery angle F is. So the unknown angle measure is 25 degrees. Derek, I see your hand up. Do you have a question?
Yeah, I never learned number 4 in 4th grade, or at least I don't remember it.
That's okay. This is kind of a review of some of the things you may or may not, with everything that went on in the 4th quarter, you may or may not have gotten some of this. So we're just trying to do this week especially, and maybe a little bit more next week, just kind of review some of the things we did in 4th grade, just as a reminder. So if this is new stuff, just follow along with what we're doing. In this way will help you to understand how it's done, okay? All right, so we're going to go ahead right here and take a look. We have the unknown angle measure is, and we're going to check mark 25 degrees on there. Make sure you have the word angle, unknown. Those are my required. Oh, and that little 0. Make sure you check mark that too. I want to see that little degree sign also checked from you. All right, we're going to move on. Now you may have some more room. I'm a little uncomfortable with the space I have here because I feel like I'm going to squish. So what I'll do is I'm going to flip over my page and go to number 5 on the other side. So I'll flip over the page and I'm going to write answer on the top, work on the other side, just to remind myself that I'm going to keep my answer on the left, my work on the right, and I'll number it, number 5. Also really important, make sure you number these, boys and girls, because when we're checking them, it's really hard to find our work if we don't number them, especially for me to find your work. So make sure you have them numbered. Alice, or Ms. Church, do you want to go ahead and read to me, tell me who we could pick for number 5 to read out?
Jason.
Jason, do you want to tell me what we're doing for number 5?
Subtract using addition or estimate to check.
Oh, that's number 6. Go back up 1 to number 5. We skipped that one.
Write the difference in the simplest form.
You got it. We're going to write the difference in simplest form today. So this is where a lot of kids will get mixed up on because they will look at this and go, okay, I'm going to add, but then they forget this key part, making sure that they write their answer in simplest form. So it's really, really, really important to make sure that you have written this in simplest form when you're done. So we're going to start, first of all, I'm going to go ahead and you can either say the difference in simplest form is, or you could write out an answer like this. You could take and write 8/12 subtract 2/12 equals, and I'll leave a blank right here. On the other side, I'm going to write out my work, and I'm going to do that right now. I'll zoom in and show you. All right. So over here, I'm going to, and when I do subtraction, I don't know, I kind of like going vertically on this one. So it's okay if you don't, but that's the way I'm going to be doing it. And when we get into like some more complicated fractions, it'll be helpful to do it this way. The first step I'm going to do is, you've written it out, I'm going to subtract the 8. I'm going to subtract 2 from 8. 8 minus 2 is 6. Pro tip at this point, and most of you probably already know this from 4th grade, we don't subtract our denominators at all. We leave them totally alone. So now 8 minus 2 is 6. So now we have a fraction, we have a difference that is 6/12. And this is where I want to make sure that you don't get stuck on. I want to make sure that this, you know that this answer is actually not in simplest form yet. 6/12 is actually not the simplest version of this. So what I'd like to do is I'm going to spark up somebody, and maybe you can tell me what the simplest form of this is. I'd like to hear what you said. What should this be in simplest form? Go ahead and Ms. Church, who should we say?
Addie.
Addie, do you want to go ahead and tell me what this is in simplest form?
I'm not sure.
Okay, that's okay. Let me try two other people, and then if we're not still sure, I'll show you what to do. All right. Go ahead and pick somebody.
Jack.
Jack, you want to tell me how this is in simplest form? Jack's.
Wait, I couldn't hear you. What do you want me to do?
I want you to look at the screen right here. I circled this fraction in red. We wanted to make this in simplest form. So what would that be in simplest form? 6/12.
Maybe subtract 6 from the 12?
We're getting there. We're almost there. Let me show you. I'm going to ask one more person to see if they can kind of take it to the next step on this one. You're kind of starting to see something, but there's a few things I want you to do.
Alex.
Alex, do you want to tell me what you would do to simplify this? Alex, are you there? Let me see. I see Alex. Alex, if you're there, unmute your microphone. I'd just like to hear if you're. There you go. Alex?
I would take the 6 and the 12 both divide by 6.
Uh-huh.
And then 6 divided by 6 would be 1, and 12 divided by 6 would be 2.
You got it. So when we simplify this down, we're going to divide it by 6/6 at the same time. 12 divided by 6, 12, or 6 divided by 6 and 12 divided by 6. And that means that our equivalent simplified fraction is 1/2. And you can kind of see that. You know that 6 times 2 is 12. 6 is basically half of 12. So we're going to move that 1/2 that we wrote here on our paper. And if you didn't simplify it, boys and girls, I want you to go ahead and I want you to write here in red pen, simplify. And that's a simplification error. And you're not in trouble if you didn't simplify or you weren't sure how to simplify. But when we're not able to simplify something, and I want you to put a simplification error, just to remind you, like, okay, I need to remember next time to simplify that fraction so I know what to do. So write down the word simplify as your simplification error. Make sure that you just did what Alex said. Do the simplification right here that you need to do. So make sure I'm circling it for you so you can simplify it. You then go ahead and write down the 1/2, and I want you to put the 1/2 in the answer section over here. So that 8/12 minus 2/12 is actually equal to 1/2. And I must have frozen my paper because it's not showing up when I did it. All right, let me go ahead and change that back so it goes back on here. I must have froze it up. Okay, let me, but that's our simplification error for this one. Boys and girls, let me do one thing really quick. I'm going to close out of that paper. I'm going to open it up again so that you can see it. So right now you can see it. You're only seeing my agenda. So what I'll do is we'll go ahead and open that back up again, and then we'll get it. So let me just do that really quick. So you get to see Mr. Yates's desktop again, and you get to see all the screen. And visualizer not connect. It's all right. Almost there. All right, good. All right, we're back on board. All right, so you should have your simplified fraction of 1/2 right here. Now we're going to go back to our spiral math and go over the next part for it. So let me see where we're at. All right, and spiral math kind of got closed out. So let me open that up again so that we have that and we'll go over it. While I'm pulling up spiral math, boys and girls, I want you to be ready to answer or give me an answer sentence for number 6. I know, so be ready with that. I'm going to go ahead and pull this open so that you can see it. Open link. And we'll go ahead and erase those random markings I've been making. I'm going to scroll on down and then we'll get back. Sorry about the delay, boys and girls. I want to make sure that we're where we need to be. All right, good. I'm going to zoom in again so you can see it. And can you go ahead right now and tell me what you would say for number 6. First of all, read number 6 for me. So just tell me what number 6 asks us to do. Addie? Abby. Oh, I'm sorry, Abby. Abby.
Subtract, use addition or estimation to, I can't say that word, to check.
You did perfect with that, Abby. Don't worry, it was perfect. Yeah, you're going to use addition or estimation to check. So you do need to check your work, and you need to use either adding it again or to estimate it. When you estimate, that just gives you a rough idea of whether you're kind of in the ballpark about your answer, so that you know that if your answer is like way different than your estimate, you know that probably something was done wrong. We're going to go ahead and you can either say here in your answer sentence the difference is, or you can go ahead and just write out the actual the actual number sentence. So I think I might just go ahead and write out the actual number sentence this time, but if you wanted to put the difference is, you could do that. So I'm going to put here 500, that's what we call a copier, 539 subtract 31,649 equals, and I kind of ran out of space on my answer side here, so I'll put a blank here for my difference. Over on this side, I'm going to go ahead and start working on my subtraction. 33,539, subtract 31,649, and I'll subtract it out. 90. Let's see here, borrow from here, 13 minus 4 is 9. Borrow again, 14 minus 6 is 8. Again, I'm checking to make sure if I made any calculation errors, and I want you to do the same thing on your work and on my work to make sure that we're both agreeing with what we do. 2 minus 1 is 1, and 3 minus 3 is 0. So now I have 1,890 as my estimate, or not my estimate, but my difference. Now, I've got my answer here, but am I done? What else am I supposed to do? Ms. Church, could you tell us what we were supposed to do? Or could you pick someone to tell us what we're supposed to do next? Addie. Addie, could you tell us what we're going to be doing next? After we make our difference, what comes next, Addie? Addison, can you hear me okay? Okay, you might be having some difficulties with the mic. I see you coming on and off, so it might be a little noisy today. We're going to pick someone else, Addie, just to make sure, just in case. Addie, or I'm sorry, who else could we pick? Jace P. Could you tell me? Go ahead and mute your microphone, boys and girls. Thank you. Jace P. Jace, can you hear me? Okay, Jace P. So I was looking for Jace P, but we're having some troubles with the mic here. Jace T, I noticed you're able to get in. Could you go ahead and just help me out here then, Jace T? I got some troubles with this right now. Just to help move things along, boys and girls, we're going to go ahead and you should be using adding or estimation to check. What I'm going to do this time is I'm going to use estimation. Estimation means that I'm going to round it so it's an easy math fact for me that I don't have to write or actually do a lot of complicated math with and subtracting, just something that I can make an estimate so I can see if my estimate is at least close to this. Reagan, I notice your hand is up. And it's probably not Reagan, is it? Riley, I notice your hand is up. Okay, Gabby, you have a question?
Sorry, my hand was up.
No worries. All right, we're going to go ahead and I'll show you how to do the estimation. I'm going to take 33,539, and I might just make it easy by estimating to 33. Well, I can estimate, round that up. Maybe I'll round that up to 34,000 because it's actually closer to 34,000. 31,000 actually kind of rounds to 32,000. Oh, that's super quick to do as an estimate. Then what I do is 4 minus 2 here is 2,000. I don't need, so this 3 minus 3 is 0, so I'm left with 2,000, which is actually pretty close to 1,890. So I know right now that I really didn't mess up on my subtraction, that I'm pretty close to what I was doing. You could have also actually added these two together and gotten a check to see if it totaled up to 33,539. Either way, I want to show me where you checked your work and then show me where you actually subtracted. Jace P, what's your question?
So for this one right here,
Uh-huh.
are we supposed to, I mean, for when I'm adding, I put a box around 31,649 and the answer, and I add those up, and I get the top number.
And that's totally fine. You could go ahead and add those up, and then you should get the same answer that was here, or the same sum that was here, the same number, and that's fine. Either way, adding it to check or estimating to check is fine. Either way, you do want to have 1,890 in the answer on the left side here. Make sure you've written either the differences or actually the number expression. We're going to move on to number 7. All right. Jason, if you want to go ahead and put your hand down if you don't have any more additional questions, or if you do, just go ahead and unmute. All right. Let's go ahead and take a look at number 7. Go ahead and Ms. Church, you can just pick somebody to tell me what number 7, or they can tell us what number 7 is about.
Jason.
Jason, if you could unmute your microphone and tell me what is the question for number 7.
Which number is a multiple of 2?
Which number is a multiple of 2? All right, so we're going to go ahead and figure out what's an answer sentence that we should put there. So what answer sentence should we write? Amaya, go ahead and tell us what the answer sentence should be there when we say which number is a multiple of 2.
Okay. I said the number that is a multiple of 2 is blank.
Maya, we had a little bit of feedback on there, but I kind of heard you. I think you said the number that is a multiple of 2 is, and that's perfect. So we'll go ahead and write that down. So we'll put here the number that is a multiple of 2. And I just spelled it out, but you could also write it as a number. The multiple of 2 is blank. On this one, if you said a because afterwards, you could give yourself a star for going extra and explaining how you know. You can also show it in your work here to show me how you know. So if you want a little bit above and beyond and explain to me why that is a multiple of 2, give yourself a star. We're getting in the habit of doing that, so when we actually start doing these where we see who's getting 100%, the star will help you. If you get one wrong, this will give you some extra credit on it, so it becomes 100% still again. So it's a little bonus. What I'd like you to do is tell me, what did you say was the number that is a multiple of 2? And if you could explain to me why you know that, that'd be great.
Jace T.
Jace T. Oops, Jace T looks like I dropped his connection here, so let me admit him in. He may not be able to get in. I had to pull him back in. Aiden, do you want to go ahead and help me out with number 7 and finish up that answer sentence for me, please?
Can you tell me that again? It's I'm sorry. Can you say that again?
Sure. Can you see the answer sentence that's on the screen right now?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So the number that is a multiple of 2 is, and then can you actually see the spiral math that I'm projecting on the screen right now?
Yep.
Okay, good. I just want to make sure you're able to see everything. All right, perfect. Yeah, just go ahead and finish up that answer sentence for me. So we're right here.
So tell you the answer or tell you the thing after because?
I'd like you to do both if you can. So tell me the number that is a multiple of 2 is, finish that, read that back to me, and just finish up the answer. And then if you can explain to me how you know that, that would be awesome.
Okay. The number that is a multiple of 2 is 74 because
Okay.
I didn't put the because in there, but I think I know how to finish it.
Okay, go ahead and finish it up for me then.
Because when you multiply 35 I'm sorry. When you multiply 37 by 2, it equals 74, and 2 is in the equation, so it's a multiple.
Yep, you're right. If whenever we multiply 2 by anything, the product is going to be a multiple of 2. So because you multiplied 2 times 37, you ended up with 74. So that automatically makes 74 a multiple of 2 because I multiplied the 2 by 37. If you said that 2 is an even number, that'll be okay too. That makes sense. Carter, you have a question?
I was just wondering if I could add on to it.
Add on, my friend.
If it ever ends in an even number, 2 can be a factor.
Exactly right too. If you notice that, if you notice the other ones here, like 85 and 67 and 53, they all end in odd numbers, and you're right. This one is the only one that ends up in an even number, so that automatically makes 2 a factor. Gabby, do you want to add anything else?
No, he took my answer.
took your answer. Riley, did you want to add anything?
I didn't want to add anything. I just wanted to tell you my sentence that I wrote.
Sure, go ahead.
I said 74 is a multiple of 2 because 74 is an even number.
I think that's a great way. Give yourself a star for adding that because part of it in there. So that's a good way to explain it. Nice job. All right, we're going to go ahead and move on to our final one today, which is number 8. Number 8, and let me just clear off this one. Let's go ahead and read what we're doing here. Amaya, do you want to go ahead and read? And Amaya, if you're on a separate computer when your sister, make sure your sister mutes her microphone because I think that might be causing some feedback. So if you guys are on separate computers, have her mute your microphone. That might make it a little bit easier.
Okay.
Thanks.
Write the sum as a fraction and as a decimal.
Perfect. Thank you. We're going to write the sum as a fraction and as a decimal. So what we'll do right now is we'll go ahead and that sounded pretty good. So I think that might have helped if you guys muted the other computer. I want you guys right now to take a look at what I'm going to write here. For number 8, I think my answer sentence I should probably put here is the sum as a fraction is blank and as a decimal is blank. Yes, Gabby.
I put a different answer sentence.
What did you say?
39 100ths plus 2/10 equals blank as a fraction and blank as a decimal.
And that's fine too. You could say like you said, you restated the expression and just said as a fraction is and as a decimal is. That's fine. Make sure, boys and girls, that you take a look at what we're going to do here. I'm going to go ahead and show you how I would do it. There's different ways. It's kind of related to what we did yesterday, actually. So I want you to take a look at how this worked. I'm going to go ahead and write it down right here so you can follow along and make sure you check to see if you got the same answers that I did here. So the first thing I noticed is that I have 2/10, and I'm going to be adding up 39 over 100. So I'm going to write that right here. When I read those out loud, I can definitely hear the decimal. 2 over 10 is 2/10. So I'm going to change that fraction into a decimal, 2/10. I'm going to change 39 when I read it out loud. You can hear it. 39 hundredths is the decimal 39 hundredths. Now, boys and girls, you get to hear the song. Got to line them decimals up, boy, line them decimals up. When you add them decimals, you line them decimals up. You'll hear that song a lot. The reason why I like to sing is because it reminds me of how to add decimals here. And you probably did this in 4th grade, but I just want to remind you again. We're going to take 0 and 2/10 and add 0. Miss Church is like, oh my gosh, she's not going to sing that ever again. Please, please don't. We're going to do 0 and 2/10. I'm lining my decimals up right here. 0 and 39 hundredths right here. I'm going to add a 0 here to make it easier for me to add. Check to see that you've done this so far. You've lined up your decimals. You're ready to add your decimals. When I add them, I get 23, or sorry, we add 0 plus 9 is 9, 2 plus 3 is 5, drop down my decimal, drop down my 0. I have 0 and 59 hundredths. Let me go ahead and take that. I'm going to take that 0 and 59 hundredths, and I'm going to write it in my answer. Oh, actually, I don't need to zoom out here. So I'm going to take my 0 and 59 hundredths and write it right over here in my decimal place. 0 and 59 hundredths. Now, when I read that out loud, I already know what I can do to make that into a fraction. I'll take that 0 and 59 hundredths, and since I hear hundredths, I know that I have hundredths as my denominator. 59 is going to be my numerator. So my fraction is 59 hundredths. Check mark to make sure you've got those in each part. For the fraction is 59 over 100. Decimal is 59 hundredths. Abby?
We're really behind on our agenda.
I
We
know.
were supposed to be done at 8:35.
Abby, the good news is that this next part is just to give you time to work on your spiral math. So if we're running a little low and you don't have as much time today on the spiral math, the good news is that we have extra time built in later in the day to get on that. So I really want to make sure that we get through this one. They'll gradually start to speed up as we get more and more familiar with how to do spiral math. I just want to make sure nobody gets lost and behind on this. Okay? But thanks for keeping it real, making sure that we're sticking to what we're doing. All right, we're going to go ahead, and this spiral math, I want you to go ahead right now and place inside your box to keep it so you don't lose it. We're going to then take a look and close out of our spiral math. I'm going to go ahead and look at our next agenda item. I gave you time, was going to give you time to work on your spiral math, and then we're right on at 9 o'clock. What I'm going to do is I'd like to keep it so that we give you a chance to go over your math homework and watch the math lesson, and then give you time after that to work on your spiral math. So we went a little bit long today, but that's okay. You can work on Thursday's spiral math a little bit later on today. What we'll do is we will go ahead and give you a stretch break right now for about 2 minutes. Don't leave the meeting. Just go ahead and stay in, but go ahead and get up. If you need to walk around, come on back. Let's come on back at 9:01, about 3 minutes from now. And that way we'll be able to start reviewing our math homework. So just go ahead and take a little stretch break if you need to. I'm going to do that right now. Don't leave the meeting, but just go ahead and stretch up a little bit, and that way we'll get to go. I'm going to take off our recording, and then let's